Great to have with us Dr. John Watford, president of South Georgia Tech. President Watford, how are you?
I'm doing great, Robert. Good to be with you today.
Good to have you on as well. This has become kind of an annual thing. About once a year, we talk about South Georgia Tech athletics, academics, and it's good to do it again in 2023-24. I want to ask you, first of all, obviously the most obvious change from last year to this year is there's a new coach there at South Georgia Tech. So a new era has started with Jason Carpenter. Let's go back in time to when James Frey decided to head to New Mexico and you implemented the process to name a new coach. Take us through that procedure.
Well, we were all sad to see James leave us, and he meant a lot and means a lot to South Georgia Tech. But we put together a committee of our vice presidents, and we included some outside folks. We had Commissioner Dave Elder, the commissioner for our region for the Georgia Collegiate Athletic Association, to sit in on the interviews and give his input on the athletic side, and went through a very rigorous round of interviews. And of course, they made a recommendation to me, and Coach Carpenter rose to the top as the creme de la creme. And I tell you, we're glad to have him. He is doing a fantastic job, not only as women's basketball coach, but as athletic director. He has taken on that role, and there's a lot of maturity in Jason. There's a lot of leadership skills there. And so far, I've just been thrilled with Jason Carpenter's leadership with the athletic programs.
Over the people that applied for the job, was there something in particular that kind of made him stand out, maybe more so? I mean, was there one item in particular or a combination of factors?
It was obviously a combination of factors. As much as we love Frey, we weren't looking for another Frey because there is no other James Frey. But there's also not another Jason Carpenter, and there's not another whoever. Everybody brings their own skill sets to the table. But the things we were looking for that Jason possessed were obviously the leadership and the ability to lead an entire athletic program, as well as coach a women's basketball team. But Jason, having been he was at Gulf Coast when we got him, and he had served also at I keep wanting to call it the old name up in North Georgia in Rome, but our biggest rival, and I can't think of their name right now, but he had been there. And
Georgia Highlands.
Georgia Highlands.
Yeah.
Georgia Highlands. Yeah. Thank you for that. You got me out of a pickle. I don't know how I could forget Georgia Highlands, as much grief as they've given us in Rome and here in Americas as well. But he had been there, and he had been at Gulf Coast, so he knew our region. He knew the conference that we play in. And there's a lot to that because, at the national level, there's a lot of different mixes, and having coached down at Gulf Coast in Panama City, he's been part of that dynasty down there. Gulf Coast, Chipola, Florida Northwestern, and I'm probably missing a couple, but those schools always have really, really strong and intimidating basketball programs. So he brought a lot to the table on a lot of different levels.
Was there I'm trying to think of the appropriate way to word this, but from the perspective of Jason coming in, I mean, a very successful program. So there's pressure on him to perform and to do it immediately. But obviously he's performed with some high pressure situations previously. So did you get a feel for a little bit of, I guess, nervousness on his part to begin with?
I wouldn't call it nervousness. I think he has the right temperament. He certainly has a respect for the position that he's in, and he wants to be, come out of the gate excelling, as we all would, and he's doing a great job. But at the same time, and I had this heart to heart with him the other day. We cannot put unrealistic expectations on him. He had a month to prepare his team before we started playing jamborees and scrimmages. and even to fill the roster with some players. So the expectations are there, but we don't expect miracles this short into the game. Having said that, he's doing a fantastic job in bringing the players together and gelling, and he has a lot of athletic talent on that women's basketball team.
You are very supportive of the athletic program, and that's not necessarily true about all presidents. You will be there. You'll be watching. If you're in town, you got your familiar spot there in the hangar that you watch the ball game. Athletics, very important to any program, specifically South Georgia Tech, where you're concerned.
Absolutely. I have an advantage as a president that we only have one athletic program, and that's basketball, men's and women's basketball. So a lot of the other presidents, Georgia Highlands, for example, my dear friends up in Rome, they have a lot of sports, and I understand, their presidents can't be at every game for softball, soccer, baseball, basketball, men's and women's of each sport. I mean, it's impossible with the president's schedule. But I have the luxury of only having that one program, and no, I can't make every game, but it is important. And I tell you, we try to make at least 1 or 2 away games for each team a year, and more if we can. It means so much to those players. They know they've got your support, but when they see you in the stands and they see you there on a fairly regular basis, and they see you there at an away game every once in a while, it means something to them. And I encourage our Jets fans and Lady Jets fans, if you ever have a weekend or a weeknight that you see they're playing in Griffin or in Cuthbert or even Panama City or someplace like that, it makes a world of difference to those players when they look up and they see some familiar faces on those away games.
All right, let's talk a little academics. There's always things going on in South Georgia Tech, whether it's construction, whether it's bringing in new programs. So tell us, what is new in 23-24 that we didn't see in 22-23?
We are excited about several things. We have been approved by the Georgia Board of Nursing to begin the process of application for an LPN to RN bridge program. And we're hoping to bring that program in late 2024 or early 2025, where we can begin matriculating students who have a licensed practical nursing diploma, they can come in and in another year earn their RN and sit for their registered nurse license. And so that's exciting. It's going to mean a lot of opportunities. And of course, we have a great nursing shortage in our state and our nation that we're trying to help mitigate. One of the other things that we've got going is a new truck driving pad on our Cordell campus. We have a 75,000 square foot facility in Crisp County that is very, very integral to the trucking industry and logistics, with an inland port, with 3 railroads intersecting and I-75 going through. So we have hired a full-time instructor and have ordered a couple of trucks and getting a 3-acre truck driving pad paved there. So we're excited about starting full-time truck driving in Cordell as well.
In this era of technology that seemingly is changing every 6 months to 12 months, it sounds to me that as a president of a community college, you're always thinking ahead to the needs that might be 3 or 4 years down the road in some cases. So how do you do that in this fast-changing culture?
It is very difficult, Robert. We have advisory committees for every program on our campus, and that's men and women in the industry of that particular program. So they give us good advisement on what new procedures are coming, what new equipment to go ahead and start training our students on that is either new or coming in the very near future. But a lot of what we learned over the past decade or two is that technical college students, there was a day and time where everything was procedural and you just taught, well, you put this peg in this hole and you teach procedurally. Now everything has to be taught based on critical thinking skills, troubleshooting, because the computer program that I taught 30 something years ago doesn't exist. COBOL, RPG, all that stuff's not around anymore. But the critical thinking skills still apply to the computers of today. And so we try to teach our students not only on the equipment that's in the market today, but also how to critically think and troubleshoot so that when they do encounter new procedures, new equipment, and so forth, that they'll be able to adapt readily.
Okay, so you've mentioned the RN program and the trucking pad as for things that are coming to South Georgia Tech in 23-24. What about next year and the year beyond? Do you see some things coming or at least in the works currently?
Absolutely. We're always wanting to expand the things that make us different. We have partnerships with Caterpillar and John Deere. And I know you're familiar with those, where we train students across the southeastern United States, and for both of those major Fortune 500 companies. We want to enhance our partnerships. We want to grow our partnerships. We also, one of the other things that makes us different is our residence halls. We're one of only two technical colleges in Georgia that has on-campus housing, and so we're hoping to expand that and introduce more students to the opportunity to have campus life in a technical college environment.
In closing, and I don't know that we've done this ever before in a conversation, but how do interested students, potential students, how do they learn more about South Georgia Tech?
We would love for them to call us or come see us. They can reach out to us by phone. They can come on our website and express an interest. Our website is www.southgatech.edu. And there's information on there on how to apply, or just how to look at programs and see what we have to offer. We love to show people where we are. People think of Americus, Georgia, and Sumter County as being a rural place out of, not in the middle of everything. And to some degree that's true, but our college is a progressive, state-of-the-art technical community college, and we want to get people on our campus. So if they would like to come see us, tell them to reach out to South Georgia Tech and schedule a tour, or just drop in, and we'll be glad to show them whatever they want to see.
Dr. John Watford, president of South Georgia Tech, thanks so much for being our guest.
Thank you, Robert. We always enjoy and appreciate JockJive. Y'all do a great job for us.
Hey, thank you so much as well.
Thank you.